AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
Jalen Brunson feels like Josh Hart is a little too close to LeBron James.
LeBron's a guard, bro. Let's come on.
Bron's whatever the hell he wants to be. What's your
God damn, man.
Nigga, did you not hear you? So Brown's on the backcourt. Brown brings the ball up. Brown does all the.
I didn't say Bron brings the ball up. You said Bron can do whatever he wants to do.
Bro, no,
That's what you just said.
I sat there and said Brown would be front court, and then you asked me like 4 questions, like why is Brown not? Brown should be this. Brown.
That was very graphic, Jalen Brunson. Calm down. But in all seriousness, they also talk about the physicality of the Philadelphia 76ers versus the physicality of the Indiana Pacers.
I feel like our two playoff series were two of the best playoff series this playoffs. The Indiana series was way more of a toll on our bodies than the Philly series.
They're so fast.
I
You don't think? I mean, it felt like to me, clearly they went in like with a plan to run you guys.
I would say they're both series are different when it came to like the physicality of it. Like physically against Philly, it was just like the physicality was crazy. Obviously, we weren't that deep at that time. We had so many injuries.
There was just never a time during the Philly series where I was like, damn, I'm tired. With them, it was like, made a layup. Next thing you know, Obi Toppin or Pascal Siakam, by the time the ball gets through the net or at half court, and they just take it and, launch it.
Oh man. So that was the moment of contention with me, Flea, AllBall. Shout out Flea, shout out AllBall TV. They kind of confirmed what I was saying. The Indiana Pacers were going to run on a track meet, and you can't have 7 guys out there, 6 guys out there. Josh Hart, as much as they don't want to critique Tom Thibodeau, listen, God bless them, man. You got your guy. If I sit down with them, wink, wink. If I sit down with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, I would have to ask him that. Like, yo, I get it. He's our guy. Tom Thibodeau's our guy. I love him. But there's no way you go into the Pacers series and you don't think you're going to have to play Precious Achiuwa. You don't think you're going to have to rest your guys. It makes no sense. I hate it. I hated that we didn't have him in the lineup in the first game. I hated that we had an 8-man rotation against the Philadelphia 76ers and we didn't extend it to a 9-man rotation with Achiuwa in there and spell these minutes against Embiid with a Howard Mitchell Robinson. I hated it. And Josh Hart was just saying it was easy. Also, Josh Hart, you got to think about it. That was the first round. Imagine if you played the Pacers in the first round. Would it have been as tough? I don't know. Right? I don't know, because everybody would have been healthier, right? So that plays a factor. Again, not to say Thibodeau's style doesn't work, because if all the players are healthy, we win a championship. I don't care what anybody says. We're winning the championship. My thing is, when it's time to get creative, that's not what he does. It's not what he's about. And to me, Josh Hart is proving that. He just said that. Okay, the Pacers were, more physical or felt more physically taxing. Well, the longer the playoffs and the season goes, it's gonna be physically more taxing, no matter who you play. I thought that was interesting. Also, they react to the season in general, Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson. Let's see them react to the actual season of 2023, 2024.
Drink wine, watch games, play with my kids, my dogs.
Do you actually watch the games?
Yeah, I watch the games. Because
I think. Go ahead.
I feel like last year I didn't really watch them until towards the end, because I was like damn, like we should have been there. Like we should have been moved on. We should have kept playing. This year, I'm not sure for you, but for me, it felt different because like me personally just left.
This was totally different.
Yeah, like
than last year. It's a
we
totally
left
different feeling.
everything out there. You know how the season kind of ended. Half of it wasn't in our control, with obviously guys getting hurt, guys going down. So it was one of those things where it was like we kind of made the best out of the situation that we were kind of dealt, and I can live with that. The other one, I was just like, I thought about Miami all summer. Now I'm like,
I mean, you live there, so
yeah, but I was thinking about like Spo, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry. Like that's all I thought about last summer. Now I'm like
thinking about
whatever.
a couple grown men all summer, huh?
That's all I was thinking about. So now I'm just like, it is what it is. Let me drink my wine, play golf, and then, get ready. Hopefully everyone's fully healthy to start the season.
The one thing I hated the most, even though like we were playing well, we were winning, we were up 2-0, then up 3-2. Whenever we lost, like everyone was like, "Oh, they're tired," or their injuries or anything. Like honestly, that kind of like pissed me off because I mean, yeah, we don't have a full team, but like we don't want to use that. Like I don't want the narrative of being like, "Oh, they're hurt, so like let's give them a pass." Like no, like we had chances to win that series and didn't. Like, we had chances to go up 3-0 and we didn't. Like I just hate the fact that sometimes people give us the fact that we were injured or that injuries happen. Yeah, they're part of the game, but like that's not the reason why we lost. We had a chance to win. Like we were winning with those injuries. Like I don't know. It kind of. I just hate the narrative. I hate the narrative. I know that you don't really give a shit, but I
was
hate
because like you were like we were winning with the injuries.
narrative.
I'm like, kinda.
I mean, if Andrew Nemhard doesn't make that 3,
No, we were up 2-0, and then was more so the injuries then. So I wouldn't say we were winning with the injuries because we were 1-4.
We were up 3-2. I would say that we had a chance to win despite our injuries.
Yeah, we had a chance to win with despite injuries.
That's a better way to say it. We had a chance to win despite injuries.
We were still there. We were, one Aaron Neesmith. No, it wasn't Aaron. Andrew Nemhard, tough end of shot clock 3 away from
being up 3-0.
Being up 3-0. So it is what it is, but
Again, shout out to the roommates. Shout out to Jalen, Brunson, Josh Hart. I love just you gotta love the fact that they're not making excuses, right? Like Brunson's sitting there going, "Bro, I'm 6'1". I'm not supposed to be the 1A." He's not built to make excuses, and that's a great point. They had a chance to win, and that's what he's thinking about. Yo, we had a chance to win, bro. What are you talking about? Even with the injuries, and he knows how legendary it would have been to win. I think that's what Brunson's thing is. Like, yo, forget what y'all talking about. Imagine if we won. Picture that, right? Like, I'll get to my criticism in a second, and revisit it in a second. I'll get to the comments in a second. Love you guys, by the way. But what Brunson is saying and how he's giving you a peek into his mentality. Like, I hear what you guys are saying. I hear the chat. I hear the chit chatting going on, but he can't allow things like that to invade his mentality, invade his day by day, invade how he goes about life. Right? He's a winner in high school, college, and even now. He's still a winner. That's what I'm talking about. He doesn't have to win a championship to me to be a winner. This he's speaking to what it is to diffuse these kind of thoughts, the approach to doubt, to anything negative. That's his approach. Yo, we had a chance to win. What are you talking about? We could have been up 3-0. That was a close game, game 3. It was crazy. We were up by 8 points in the fourth quarter. End of the third. It was wonderful. Couple mistakes here and there, and then Nimhard hits a 3. You can't doubt that. Can't argue that, right? But I will. You know I will. Fabian, you have to remember Tibbs was down 4 guys into game 3 of Indy series. We had them first 2 games with OG. Listen, Top and Jeffries, none of those guys would do anything, just ran out of bodies. Of course. Of course, right? That's the obvious. That is what happened. But Achua was totally playable. Alec Burks is the one I can understand. There's no way you can argue that he is planned to play you plan to play him against the Philadelphia 76ers. Not the way he was playing in the regular season. Bohan at least showed us glimpses throughout the regular season, but even he was falling out of favor. He still cracked the 8-man rotation in the beginning of the playoffs because you talk about just a sharpshooter and that head trigger that Bohan has is amazing. Shout out to him. He's going through his injuries. An older guy, 35 years old, has to come back from that. He's in trade rumors as well. But Achua is somebody that he was also up and down. Once OG got back in the lineup, Achua lost his minutes, and it was tough for him. Don't get me wrong. It was tough for him to be able to crack that 9-man rotation for Thibodeau. And I get it. You want 8-man, you want an 8-man roster, it's 8-man rotation, so that when you could choose your guys, it's not going to be hard to choose from them in the playoffs. I get all of that. But Embiid was hobbled. We knew this. He was getting his win back with those last 7 games, and Philly was playing really good, but they were playing bad teams. A healthy Embiid with the 76ers early on in the season, they were the best team in the Eastern Conference, in my opinion. Better than Boston for me. They were a major problem. Embiid healthy with that team was amazing. What we saw Thibodeau, the adjustment we saw Thibodeau make for Hartenstein when he first started with the Knicks. Hartenstein was in the paint. And then Thibodeau figured out, all right, we signed this guy. This guy could pass. He can't. His strength on offense is passing, and then of course the offensive rebounds eventually. But let's place him at the top of the key because Brunson, the best facilitator on the Knicks, in my opinion, is Hartenstein, and Brunson needs that guy for the dribble handoff to even Randall. All these guys, they need Hartenstein to find them from the top of the key, and they can get something going. Similar to what Nick Nurse did for Embiid. He moved him from in the paint to the top of the key because Embiid, throughout the first part of his career initially, he struggled with, of course, injuries, but the skill of passing out of a double team in the post, and he's gotten way better at that. Embiid, he's gotten way better at just dumping the ball off and making reads, but he does struggle with that, especially when you have the athletic, speedy guys on him who can guard him. That's why OG on Embiid was going to be crazy for me. Going into the playoffs, I thought, oh, it's a wrap. He's hobbled. Embiid is hobbled. The MVP is hobbled. We got OG on here. At the very least, we can spell the first 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, throw OG on him. But we had OG chasing Tyrese Maxey around. To throw him on Embiid would be kind of tough. That's why I thought Achua should have made the 9-man rotation. I said that from the beginning. There's no way he shouldn't be playing. Shout out to Sean Bernard, part of Philly Digest, the 76ers Digest. He's the one who came on AllBall TV, and he told us. I'm surprised Achua didn't play game 1. I was shocked. Hartenstein couldn't guard Embiid. You can see it. You can see he doesn't keep his hands up. You needed the speed and athleticism to thwart Embiid's game, even if he was healthy. So you have Mitchell Robinson, OG, and Achua, 3 athletic guys. I mean, Mitchell Robinson's a monster on him. I think Embiid's terrified of Mitchell Robinson. He's totally confused. Mitchell Robinson's out there, and he'll pump fake his way into getting Mitchell Robinson in foul trouble. So I thought you were going to get 15, 20 minutes of Mitchell Robinson, and more so in the second half. I thought the first game 1, if you saw, Hartenstein played like 20 minutes. Mitchell Robinson played 30. That was a big mistake in my mind. Again, it's the minutes distribution. It's not just about, you did play them too much, but I think you could have spelled it differently if you had Ochua in there. He gives you 5 to 7 minutes, gets Hartenstein, Mitchell Robinson some rest, OG some rest until the fourth quarter. When you throw Mitchell Robinson, a combination of Mitchell Robinson, Ochua, and OG in the fourth quarter against Embiid, there is no 50-point game. There just wouldn't be. There just wouldn't be. It'll be hard for him to kick out of the double team, harder for him to make his reads. It just is what it is. So it wasn't until we were forced to play Ochua that Tibbs played Ochua. In game 4. Game 4 was that in Philadelphia. It was that third quarter where Hartenstein damn near fouled out. And then OG was on Embiid in the fourth quarter. And then Ochua. I just couldn't understand, like, why Tibbs didn't do that. And then even if you didn't plan that and you go into the playoffs and then you see, okay, this took place, maybe we should try it again. That's like going to a play that's working all day long. Why would we get away from it? Bird in the hand beats two in the bush, man. And that bird in the hand was right there in our palms. I just thought that was a mistake. And now you fast forward to the Indiana series. It's the next series. These guys, Josh Hart's playing 48 minutes. Ochua was not out there. You don't plan to play Ochua against the Pacers when Siakam is out there? Come on, Ochua was in Toronto. He's been practicing against Siakam. I did not understand that. I'm not saying Ochua is a starter, all NBA caliber, all defensive caliber player. No, but he's serviceable. You can't tell me the Pacers had an all NBA players, only all NBA guys, Halliburton, and even he was struggling. So to not have a body out there like Ochua, think about it. If Ochua plays more often in this Philadelphia series, I believe we close them out. We probably sweep them the way I thought they should have beaten them. Even if you lose one game against them, that means Mitchell Robinson plays an extra game against the Pacers. That's tough. And you didn't plan to play that extra body. You had a 7-man rotation against the Pacers to start. You were forced to play Alec Burks, which at that point, I thought in the pace going into the Pacers series now, you lost Bohan. That would have happened. Mitchell Robinson wasn't hurt yet, but you have to believe you're going to go with an 8-9-man rotation just to fill up those minutes, man. Just to fill up those minutes. That's all. I'm not expecting much out of them, but I'm expecting them to be serviceable. I'm expecting Alec Burks' numbers to actually be decent against the Pacers because they don't play defense. And you saw 6'6", he was getting anywhere he wanted to against the Pacers because you have a guy with talent. He's still an NBA talent who can handle the ball. He was doing what he wanted to do against the Pacers. So I didn't fully expect that much. Like that game 7 that he had against the Pacers was crazy. I didn't expect that from him, but I did expect him to be serviceable. And then you get Brunson some rest. You bring him back in there for a great fourth quarter. Mitchell Robinson might have got an extra game. I still expect him to get hurt because it's a stress fracture. I mean, it's a stress injury. I still expected him to get hurt, right? It was possible. It was always looming. But I just thought that was the big mistake for Thibodeau. Everything else, of course, it falls on injuries because I'm also saying with our guys, even without Randall, just OG back, Mitchell Robinson back, just those guys back, you win the championship with Tibbs coaching that style because you got his guys in the game, right? So it's not that you can't win with Tibbs style, but you need players. You need his players, and he wasn't in there, and he did not become creative. He just didn't. Let's get to the comments. I love you guys. New York teams are just never looking. Even the Rangers blew up. Did they? I'm not watching. I know that they were in the playoffs and they were a heralded team, but hopefully they pull through. Tibbs is not a smart in-game coach. They did make a huge adjustment though, Marvin Smith. If you look back on it against, I think it was Sean. What's my guy's name? Sean Jones. He's on JJ Redick's network, and he's always on Twitter, just posting like different highlights and just following the game. If I'm not mistaken, he's the one who pointed out Siakam the Pacers were running this play from the sideline, a sideline play. Every single time they seen Josh Hart guarding Siakam, it was like 3 or 4 plays in a row. Siakam would go at him and kill him every time. They finally figured it out in game 4, if I'm not mistaken. Tom Thibodeau said, yo, if you see Josh Hart and Siakam, call a switch. They switched Josh Hart with either Ochua. It wasn't OG. I want to say either Ochua or Hartenstein. And they were able to stay in front of Siakam, and he turned the ball over, I think 2 or 3 times in a row after that. So that they did that sideline play. So again, that's a defensive adjustment. It's just the minutes. He's expecting them to be, soldiers out there, and that's just tough. Even Jericho Sims or Diakite would have been worth trying to put on guarding Siakam. Hart is too short for that and could barely stand. Oh, sorry about that. Well, Jericho Sims is unplayable right now. I like Flea. Shout out to Flea. He pointed that out, and he kept talking about Jericho Sims like, yo, bro, he just doesn't know how to play basketball yet, and he's absolutely right. Jericho Sims cannot play basketball right now. It was embarrassing, even for those 4 minutes. That ain't the 4 minutes I wanted to see. He wasn't making a difference, man. He just wasn't. If Ochua was in the game 3, 4th quarter against the Pacers, we probably up 3-0. Even if he's from game 1, I just think you buy time for your players, and I don't care what Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson says. You need to rest. AllBall TV. AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.